Sometimes it's a bunch of people getting together, bemoaning the state of affairs of the world, and usually trying to figure out something to do about it. Sometimes it's a movie or a get-together, but we encourage any of you to drop by any second Wednesday that you have to be free. Our forum tonight is titled "The People versus the Supreme Court," and it was organized with the planning of our steering committee, Bergen County Green Party Steering Committee, the chair of which is Ed Fanning, and I'd like to have him introduce our speaker for this evening. Ed?
Thanks, Gary. I want to thank you all for attending tonight's session with Frank Askin from the Rutgers School of Law on the Supreme Court decision in the Citizens United case, which legitimizes corporations' ability to buy our elected officials. I wanted to start off by thanking our co-sponsors, which are the American Iranian Friendship Committee, Bergen Grassroots, Fort Lee Peace Vigil, New Jersey Peace Action, Northern New Jersey Socialist Party, the People's Organization for Progress, St. Anastasia's Roman Catholic Church, Veterans for Peace, Chapter 21, and Westpac. Before we get started, there's just a couple housekeeping items. Number one, on Friday, March 19th, you have on your chairs a flyer. There's going to be a speak out, sing out against the wars on Iraq and Afghanistan. That's going to be at 7 o'clock at St. Anastasia's Church in Teaneck. And that'll be sponsored by many of the groups I just mentioned, including Veterans for Peace and Military Families Speak Out. So if you can join us that night, if there are any poets, or you just want to express some outrage at the current political situation and the wars over there, please attend and pass the message along to your friends. Also, we're organizing a bus to Washington the following day to protest the same wars. The bus will be departing Teaneck, leaving around 5:30, 6 o'clock. The cost would be $45 or $20 for students and low income. The information you can email people or included on the flyer. So we still have some tickets available, but I understand they're going pretty quickly. So if you're interested, please send us an email as soon as possible. And finally, there's ongoing actions if we plan to continue organizing against this decision to allow unlimited spending. And you have a sheet with information for email addresses at the Bergen County Green Party and myself, and also to write or call your Congressman Garrett or Rothman. I spoke to Garrett's office today. They're pretty much of the opinion that this isn't much of a change, and it's pretty much business as usual. The corporations have already bought off our politicians, but as I said, this makes it much worse, and it's we really need total campaign financing reforms, and now we have corporations just on the loose as if they're on steroids. So we need to organize and continue to speak out against this, so please email us or give us a call if you want to continue in that struggle. We'll be passing around a basket later on. If you could help out defray the cost of the forum, your contributions are appreciated. And you also have postcards and pencils so you can jot down questions as we go along, and we'll collect those towards the end of Frank's presentation, and we'll address those questions afterwards. So, about Frank Askin. Frank is a distinguished professor at Rutgers School of Law. He is a Robert E. Knowlton Scholar and established a constitutional litigation clinic at Rutgers. The litigation clinic has done great work to challenge the constitutionality of the Iraq War, New Jersey's electronic voting machines that do not produce a paper record. They brought suits challenging government surveillance of political activists, led a successful defense of the right of nonprofit advocates to distribute leaflets door to door and in shopping malls, litigation that opened the door to greater minority employment in the Newark police and fire departments. They've worked to protect immigrants' rights, the rights of alternative political parties, challenged New Jersey State Police for unreasonable searches of motorists on our highways, defended affirmative action programs up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and argued for the rights of the homeless to vote and to have access to public library facilities. And that's just to name a few. He's also a member of the board of directors of Project Vote. His memoir, Defending Rights, A Life in Law and Politics, was published in 1997 by Humanities Press, and he's listed in Woodward and White's Best Lawyers in America. So we're very much looking forward to Frank's presentation tonight, and with that, I'll hand it off to Frank.
Thank you, Ed. Glad to be here. I always remind when I come back to Bergen County, before I went to law school, I actually was a reporter in Bergen County, worked for the Bergen Record. In fact, the Bergen Record fired me in best thing they ever did for me. They fired me in 1960 because I was organizing the American Newspaper Guild at the paper. And in fact, after they fired me, I actually became the first paid executive director of the Democratic Party in Bergen County. That was from 1961 to 63 during the first campaign of Dick Hughes for governor. And then I started law school in 1963. So I'm always glad to come back to Bergen County. And by the way, when I speak, feel free at any point to chime in and ask me a question if something doesn't quite make sense, you don't understand something. I don't mind. First, I'm curious, who would recognize the speaker of the following quotation? The fortunes amassed through corporate organizations are now so large and vest such power in those that wield them as to make it a matter of necessity to give to the sovereign, that is the government which represents the people, some effective power of supervision over their corporate use. All contributions by corporations to any political committees or for any political purpose should be forbidden by law. Directors should not be permitted to use stockholders' money for such purposes. Who knows who said that? Huh? What? Teddy Roosevelt. Absolutely. His State of the Union message in 1905, which actually led to the passage by Congress of the Tillman Act in 1907, which forbade corporations from making contributions to candidates for federal office. That prohibition was extended to cover candidate contributions by trade unions in the Taft-Hartley Act of 1947. And the prohibition against both union and corporations was extended in the FECA, Federal Employment Contributions Act, to include independent expenditures. That was in 1973. And then independent expenditures, meaning you can't even make uncoordinated expenditures to support or oppose candidates. The Tillman Act, Taft-Hartley, prohibited direct contributions to candidates, but then the FECA also prohibited expenditure of corporate treasury funds independently of candidates or political committees. In Buckley versus Vallejo, the first major test of campaign restrictions, which was in 1975, upheld the contributions restriction, but limited a ban on independent expenditures to those that expressly advocated the election or defeat of named federal candidates, as opposed to what the court called issue advocacy. That is, you could use corporate and union money allegedly to support issues, to say this issue is good, this issue is bad, but you just couldn't use it to say vote for or against a particular candidate.